With the city of Final Fantasy coming out, we here at the Game Machine decided to pay tribute by reviewing the game that made the Final Fantasy series what it is today. Before the time of zippers, gay clowns, and giant sword-wielding emos, there was the first Final Fantasy on the NES. Back in the 80s, Square at the time made some games that no one even really cared about, so this was to be their final game. However, when the game was released in Japan in 1987, it kicked so much ass and saved the company, and the game is what made Square Enix what it is today. So let us journey into the mystic land of Final Fantasy on the NES. You will start out with the song that represents Final Fantasy, so tranquil and peaceful. But alas, all is not right in the world as there is a great evil upon it. But 4 chosen light warriors have emerged, and they will be the ones to save the world. While this is definitely no Lord of the Rings, it was pretty amazing story for its time, and gives you a sense of saving a fantasy realm from a great evil. When you first start the game, you get to choose what class you'll be, and the party, and their names. However, in the NES version, you're limited to having characters with 4 letters in their name, so I decided to go with Bob as my fighter, Crab as my red mage, Cake as my white mage, and B. Pitt, or aka Brad Pitt, as my black mage. Seriously, who doesn't like Cake and Brad Pitt? Once you've assembled your team of heroes, you go to the castle of Cornelia, where the king tells you that the princess has been kidnapped, not by Bowser this time, but by the once good knight Garland. So you and your buddies decide to go over there and get medieval on his ass. Before you do, make sure that you're well equipped, because you have nothing to fight back with. You can get weapons, armor, and spells from the local town shop. This game lets you level up your characters, as in most RPGs, so there's quite a bit of grinding required to make sure that you don't get wasted when things get tough. You do confront Garland and defeat him, but that's just the start of your journey. Once you defeat Garland and cross the newly built bridge, you will get a cutscene that will narrate for you what is ahead and what is in store for you and your band of merry men. I won't spoil it for you, you'll just have to play the game for yourself. Battles are turn-based, and the more monsters you fight, the stronger you become. Each class has certain attributes that make it stand out among the rest. Fire class uses weapons and deals a lot of physical damage attacks, while white mages are good for healing and protecting the party, and black mages, while physically weak, they can do really powerful magic spell attacks. Your party makeup is key to success. Who you use is key, and once you pick your 4 classes, that's it, you're stuck with them. Looks like Brad Pitt isn't doing too well in my party, as monsters seem to really hate Brad Pitt. Hey, lay off of Brad Pitt. I'm sure he'd rather be grinding Angelina Jolie than you orgs. Then later in the game, the character classes get an upgrade, like Fighter turns into Knight, and etc. There's a few secrets in the game, like when you go see the witch and talk to her brooms, they say this, which means push B and select, which gives you a view of the overworld map. Also, if you're on a boat, and you hit the A button and push the B button 55 times, you get a puzzle game where you can win Gil if you complete it. Just don't ask me how to beat this because I have no idea. Also, for those of you who have a complete copy of the original game, you get a world map, a dungeon map, a bestiary, and a complete item, magic, and weapons guide. The instruction booklet itself is no slouch, as it is a complete strategy guide to the game, which nowadays you have to pay to get all that separate. Overall, this game is great. While it isn't as deep as the games of Fallout, there's something classic about the quest to save the world from the great evil thing. While you can't pick up this version, you can also pick up the PlayStation 1, Game Boy Advance, and PSP remix of the game, which is definitely a lot easier to play than the NES original. The NES version can be frustrating because it's harder to escape from enemies, and the enemies are very, very powerful. This definitely is the godfather of all RPGs and helped them thrive in the gaming world. It is definitely worth checking out to see where the fantasy began. And make sure to stay tuned to Control-Alt-Kill for the Dissidia Final Fantasy review. You know that's what Brad Pitt would want you to do. And until next time, game on.